It's no secret that making hard-boiled eggs in a pressure cooker is super easy and they peel like a dream. You may have heard of the term 5-5-5. Well, guess what? After a lot of testing, I'm gonna dispel that and change up the timing. Welcome to the Salted Pepper, where we cook for real life using real food and we keep it real simple. And today we're gonna talk all about hard-boiled eggs in the pressure cooker. This is specifically for pressure cooking. So you may have heard of the 5-5-5 method. It is all over the place. And I've tried it, but you know what? It never really worked out that well for me. So 5-5-5 means 5 minutes of pressure cook, 5 minutes of natural release, and 5 minutes in an ice bath. And what I found, whether I did store-bought eggs or freshly laid eggs, is that half of the time they were overcooked. They started to get a little bit of a green ring around the yolk, and the eggshell was actually turning brown on one of the bottoms of the eggs. This happened about 50% of the time, like I said. The other 50% of the time, the eggs were fine. So I got to thinking, well, what is the issue here? Is it because of fresh laid eggs versus store-bought eggs? Is it about temperature, room temperature versus cold eggs? So I dove in deep and I probably hard-boiled about 6 eggs at different timings in the pressure cooker, also different temperatures of the eggs, different timings with the water bath, and I came to the conclusion that the perfect egg is not 5-5-5. All right, so let's get into it. First, you need your pressure cooker, obviously. What I'm using is the Ninja Foodi. This is the 6.5 quart, but in my testing, I also tested with the 8 quart Ninja Foodi and also the Steam and Crisp model, the one lid, the smart lid model using pressure cook. And I tested it in the 8 quart and the 6.5 quart, and they worked exactly the same. So while there is a little bit of difference in the time to pressure between the 6.5 quart and the 8 quart, it was about 35 seconds on average. So it didn't make a difference in the cooking of the egg. So you can follow this no matter what size Ninja Foodi you have. Okay, even the 5 quart should be fine, although I did not test it in the 5 quart, and I'm not sure why. After all those eggs, I could have done that. I forgot. All right, so we want to have something to hold our eggs. I'm using the basket. This is what I prefer. You can use the rack and just sort of pile them up. That's fine. You can use your crisping plate if your Ninja Foodi came with a plate instead of a basket. That's fine. Just be careful when you set the eggs in, okay? And I'm going to go over that in just a second. But let me go ahead and get this set up and we'll talk about the eggs that I have here. 1 cup of water, and I recommend using like room temperature water, okay? I mean, I just get the water right out of the faucet, but I make sure that it's not to the hot setting or to the cold setting, kind of right in the middle there. So 1 cup of water. And then let's talk about the eggs, okay? So I'm gonna open these up. You can see I have different colored eggs and I have them separated. So I'm gonna do 12 eggs today. You can do a dozen. You can do 18, a dozen and a half, it's fine. The timing's going to be the same. What you wanna make sure though is you wanna avoid those blowouts, right? You don't wanna have eggs that split and leak their contents during pressure cooking. Now, you're not gonna be able to prevent that 100% of the time because sometimes there are gonna be hairline fractures in the shell, and that is what causes those blowouts, okay? They can be kind of funny looking. I've seen some that are just crazy looking. So every once in a while, you're gonna have that happen. It has nothing to do with how you are cooking them. It has to do with the egg itself. So what I do is I kind of look them over and just do the best I can to make sure that they don't have any of those hairline fractures. And I've already looked these over. So what I have on this side is cold eggs. These are store-bought large eggs, and I've also done extra large eggs, and they work out fine. No problems there. If you go smaller, you're probably gonna wanna decrease your time. And then I have freshly laid eggs from our hens. These are cold, but 1 to 2 weeks old, okay? Because keep in mind, when you get store-bought eggs, we don't really know how old they are. There is, a sell-by date or use-by date, but they're not fresh. You know, they've been around for a while before they even get to the grocery stores. So I would think that 1 to 2 weeks is probably a little bit fresher than the store-bought ones. And then I have one that's cold that is 1 to 2 days. So freshly laid. These are 2 different chickens as well. So we've got lots of variables going on, which is what I like because I've done all this testing. And no matter what it was, they turned out perfect with this timing. All right, then I've got room temperature eggs. And again, these are store-bought large eggs. These are room temperature 1 to 2 week laid eggs from my hens, 1 to 2 days from my hens. Okay, all right, so there we go. Those are our eggs, and I'm gonna place them in carefully because guess what? You can create those hairline cracks just by putting them in the basket. So I'm just gonna kind of lay them around here. Whether you do 2 eggs or 20 eggs, your timing is going to be the same. All right, there we go. Now we can get the pressure lid on. Make sure your valve is to the sealed position so we go under pressure. We're gonna turn the Ninja Foodi on, or this can be done in the Instant Pot, same thing. We want to go to pressure cook, high is what we want, and the timing is going to be 4 minutes. All right, so we'll pressure cook for 4 minutes and then we'll do a natural release for 4 minutes and get those eggs into the ice bath, okay? So let me explain how I came to the 4-4-5 method, or 4-4-4, because that 1 minute in the ice bath won't matter. So 4-4-4, 4-4-5 is fine. I, again, like I said earlier in the video, was having some issues with some green rings around my eggs and also some browning in the shell, just indicating that they were just slightly overcooked. So when I dropped my time to 4 minutes of pressure cook, I started out with 6 minutes of natural release. So 4 of pressure cook, 6 of natural release, and then in an ice bath. And the results were really good. But I thought they could be a little bit better. So I wanted to shorten that natural release time to 4 minutes. And that worked out beautifully in all my testings, no matter if the eggs were cold or room temperature, whether they were fresh or store-bought, it all worked out beautifully. So I thought this is going to, help everybody who's having issues with the 5-5-5 method. Now, if you love your eggs and you're doing 5-5-5, or you're doing, 6, 10, 20, whatever you're doing, if it's working for you, keep doing it. I'm not here to, change your mind or anything. This is just what worked for me across the board with very consistent results. When I bite into a hard-boiled egg, I like the white to be firm but not rubbery, and the yolk to be cooked but not dry. So that's my perfect hard-boiled egg, and this timing achieved that. All right, so we did 4 minute pressure cook, 4 minute natural release. It took about 2 minutes for the remaining steam to be removed so that we can open up the lid. Do that away from you because it is very steamy. All right, so now we want to get the eggs out and into our ice bath. I'll just scoop them out here and lower them into the ice bath. Now, the reason why you want to put them in an ice bath is to stop the cooking and also to set the egg whites. So sometimes the egg whites, even though they're cooked, they may not be fully set. So the ice bath will help do that. And then what I usually do, first of all, make sure that they're completely submerged in the water. And then what I usually do is just let them sit on the counter for about 4 to 5 minutes until they are cool enough for me to handle. Now, if you weren't going to peel and serve them right away, you can put them directly into the refrigerator in the ice bath, and that's perfectly fine. If you wanted to store them for later use, I recommend keeping them unpeeled. So And don't worry, they will still peel beautifully, even if you don't peel them right after pressure cooking. Just make sure that they're chilled, put them in the refrigerator, and they will last up to 7 days in the refrigerator. So this is a great way to make a bunch of eggs if you like to put them on your salads or just take a hard-boiled egg for a snack. This is a perfect way to do it. You can also store them unpeeled. However, I find that they tend to dry out. So the shell does protect them from drying out. But you could wrap them in saran wrap and have them in individual little servings to just grab and go. That's fine. All right, so we'll wait 4 minutes and then I will show you the magic of peeling a pressure cooked egg. All right, so they've been in the ice bath for about 4 minutes and we're gonna go ahead and start taking them out. So I'm gonna start with the room temperature store-bought egg. Now the way that I like to crack the eggs is to go like that on both ends and then start to peel. I usually do this under running water. I find it makes it a little bit easier. Once you get the eggs started, the whole shell will just sort of peel off. There we go. There's a little like membrane, I'm gonna call it, and I like to make sure that I get that so that helps bring the shell all the way off. I've done hard-boiled eggs so many different ways, and I always get little craters when I go to peel them. And pressure cooking is the only way that I've found that works beautifully all the time. Now, again, I would normally do this under running water, but I'm just gonna stick it right here in my ice bath to get off any shells that might be there. All right, moment of truth. So this is the room temperature store-bought egg. They are perfect. Absolutely perfect. Room temperature, store-bought. So we'll go there. Now let's do a room temperature 1 to 2 week. This is a freshly laid egg. That's about 1 to 2 weeks old. This one has a little bit of browning on the bottom, which is unusual, but I'm gonna also show you something. I can see how it was sitting in the basket. The yolk is very close there. That happens sometimes. All right, here we go. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Gorgeous. This is 1 to 2 days room temperature. The store-bought cold. Absolutely beautiful. And now we will do the 1 to 2 week cold. Perfect. And now we need the fresh one, 1 to 2 days. And absolutely perfect. They are all cooked exactly the way I like them. Okay, this would be perfect for egg salad, perfect for deviled eggs, perfect for eating as just, you know, a hard-boiled egg, perfect for putting on your salad. Just absolutely perfect. Put a little bit of salt. And here we go. What I love about this method of decreasing the time to 4 minutes is when I take a bite, the yolk is not so dry that you start to feel like you need to wash it down with, you know, water or something. It's absolutely amazing. So I hope if you haven't gotten the exact results that you want from the 5-5-5 method, that you might give the 4-4-4 method a try.